In today's news, a mother of bullied student says her son and family is left fearful following incidents. And Long Bay Beach faces 11 out of 17 threats outlined in VI Beach policy. And Cline names Najan Christopher as a worthy candidate for the next election. And my campaign will be a conversation with the people, says Premier. But viewers, these and more stories when 284 News return.
Introducing a show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. It doesn't always involve suits and bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons. I'm taking you outside in the field to share the journey of some of the BVI's the best and brightest men. From East End to West End, Virgin Gorda to Jos Van Dyke, not forgetting Anegada. Our Virgin Islands gentlemen are doing the damn thing. We are the movers and shakers of this generation. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman. Season 4 by yours truly, Ron Grant. Raising a generation of greatness. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. on 284 Media.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Welcome viewers to the Thursday, October 13th edition of 284 News. I am Kamal Haynes, bringing you the latest out of the British Virgin Islands. I want to thank you so much for joining us. While leading to today's newscast, Mrs. Asma Mohammed, the mother of a high school student that has been a victim in a number of alleged bullying incidents, says her son and family is left fearful of his life following the incidents. When Mrs. Mohammed sat down and spoke about the incidents in an interview earlier today, after her social media post on the subject went viral with over 200 comments. She first spoke on what she believes started the incidents of bullying.
The incident occurred from last term. The school had Crocs Day that the kids can wear Crocs to school. My son, I purchased a Crocs for him and he wanted a lot of charms. Knowing that charms are pretty expensive in the BVI, I went ahead and ordered charms for him. So his Crocs was fully loaded with charms. Upon getting home from school, one student approached him and probably rough him up. I think he had hit him, slap him or something like that. Took away his Crocs and take whatever charms he wants from his Crocs. So my son being standing there, he went up to the individual and asked back for his charms. And they had a little ruffle there over the charms. They had a little fight. I'll say a little fight because they had a video circulating over the charms. So that incident was finished. I reported it to the school. I reported it to the police station. And I thought that would have been it. But an incident keep occurring over and over. They would bully, try to harass him and try to start a fight or whatever. Apparently, like the student feel like my son had the upper hand with the fight and he wants to redeem himself so that he can be the one that actually looks like he won the fight. So my son was bullied on his way home because we're living very close to the high school. So he was bullied home, going back home. And I mean, it's only that much a child can take.
Well, after the first set of incidents, which she said occurred last term, she felt that everything had settled following a sit-down with the principal of the school and the parents of the other student. However, she said that was not the case, as the alleged student once again approached her son on the first day of the school term last month.
We decided that, I told them, they asked me what I want to do at that time. I told them I just want the child to be warned because I don't want it to occur. Just warned him to stay away from my son, and I'm going to tell my son the same thing, to stay away from him and stop this. So that happened. They all agreed that that would have been it. So school reopened this term now. So forget about that because I figured that it's over with and done with. This term, the first day my son attended school, the incident come right back up. Apparently, like the video started to circulate again. And the young man feel like he want to have a round two. So my son, he approaches my son and my son told me that he was getting like boost from his friend, like, you're going to allow him to go. You see you didn't win that fight fairly, you're going to allow him to go. So that's how the incident occurred this storm. So my son told him he don't want no beef with him and he don't want no trouble. That's happened last storm and that's it. He don't want any trouble, but it seems like he didn't want that. So the incident occurred again. He meet my son, he will harass him and over. The one, I don't even know how it escalate to the brass knuckle and the knife. Because he was just there harassing him every day. He would harass him and harass him.
Well, Mrs. Mohammed said to her knowledge, no major disciplinary action was taken after the first incident. However, she said the alleged student was suspended and subsequently arrested and charged following the most recent incident.
To be honest, nothing did not last storm. I can't remember, nothing came out of that situation because I can't even recall if the child was suspended or anything from school last storm. But the only thing is that the police went to the school and they had a meeting, but I was not present at the meeting. It just was a phone call.
What the mother said, as a result of the continued incidents, her son is now extremely fearful for his life while traveling to and from school.
To be honest, right now my son is scared. He wouldn't go out and say that he's scared, and most of the time when he's been bullied in school, sometimes he don't even go and tell it to the teacher. He will come home and he will say it, and you literally sometimes have to sit with him and talk with him because he's a person, he won't just really come out and say everything like that. He's scared because first he's told me that he was okay going to school, but he said, "Mommy, walking home and walking to school is a problem because I'm scared these boys could come out from anywhere." But then when the incident occurred in school, he told me he don't feel safe at all. He said he don't feel safe in school and he don't feel safe out of school. Now on social media too, a lot of people been saying that I should take my son out of the school and put him in a private school, but that shouldn't be. Private schools are not cheap. So why should I make myself in so much expense, because things in the BVI right now is so expensive, to take my son out of his school, from the school, and put him in a next school because of bullying? That wouldn't solve the problem. The problem will still continue.
Well, viewers, you can watch that full interview on our 284 Media Facebook page. Well, moving on, viewers, where the Ministry of Natural Resources has emphasized the importance of the Long Bay Beef Island Beach Management Plan as conditions at the beach continue to quickly deteriorate and pose environmental concerns for the territory. Well, as explained by Environmental Officer Angela Burnett Penn, the Long Bay Beach, as one of the few remaining intact beach systems, is of grave environmental significance.
Significantly, Long Bay is one of the very few remaining whole intact beach systems. And by that I mean we have the full gamut of marine and coastal systems, everything from fringing coral reefs on either side of the bay that are supported by the pristine water quality of the bay, and salt ponds that actually help to maintain that water quality. So it's one of those systems that is really special and needs to be protected to make sure that it can continue to benefit us in this current generation and generations to come.
Well, Burnett Penn spoke during a virtual community meeting on October 11th. She noted that the Long Bay Beach is widely used by the entire BVI population and visitors to the territory for a variety of reasons, including those of social, recreational, cultural, and spiritual nature. She said it contributes to the overall quality of life in the territory. As the third most visited beach in the BVI and possibly the most used from the residential perspective, Burnett Penn said that conditions at the Long Bay Beach have begun to reflect the impact of this constant and often irresponsible use.
All of those changes and new activities has really shifted Long Bay from what was a very low threat beach to one of the beaches with the highest threat levels in the territory, where currently the beach experiences 11 out of the 17 potential threats to beaches identified in the Virgin Islands beach policy, which was approved in the last few years, and it's at risk for another 3 threats.
Well, the existing threats facing the beach were identified as follows: deteriorating coral reef structures, degraded wildlife habitat, including turtle and shorebird nesting, litter, clearing beach vegetation, sand mining, compacting of sand dunes by vehicular traffic, sea level rise combined with minimal building setbacks which reduce the ability of the beach to adapt by migrating inland, lighting bonfires and beach barbecues which stall the sand, unregulated activities within the beach zone such as heavy equipment, ill-placed temporary and permanent vending and beach bar facilities and their accessories, multiple and conflicting uses of some beaches that reduce beach visitor experience, lack of consistently applied use and safety guidelines, and noise pollution from loud music not authorized for special events. Well, 3 additional issues, namely poor water quality, persistent mass sargassum landing, and overcrowding, are currently being monitored and could be added to the list in the absence of relevant intervention. But the Ministry of Natural Resources hopes to guide these interventions through the beach management plan, which is currently in its draft detailed stage. What feedback from the public is being considered ahead of the plan being finalized in the coming weeks, after which it will be presented to Cabinet for approval and revisions. An in-person community meeting is being held today, Thursday, October 13th, at the East End Methodist Church Hall. Well, it began just moments ago at around 6:30 p.m. Well, up next, viewers, Cline names Najan Christopher as a worthy candidate for the next election. And my campaign will be a conversation with the people, says Premier. Well, these and more stories after a word from our sponsors.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What do you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What do you really? Hey, this ain't like you, know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home. Keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What's your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I hustle. I watching ball. I been watching football, Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hooked, I tell you.
Well, welcome back, viewers. Well, Najan Christopher is being encouraged to throw her hat into the political ring by talk show host Claude Cline, who described her as a fitting candidate. Well, Cline spoke in a recent edition of his radio show Honestly Speaking, while he listed female candidates he would like to see on the ballot at the next election.
I listed some women who I think, I had no conversation with them, but I think that they would make some good candidates. Who all did I mention? I mentioned Arlene Penn. I mentioned Pearline Scatliff. I mentioned Luce the Juice Hodge. And then I mentioned Janice Stout. These are good candidates, good persons, great women. I mentioned Dame Chief Justice Janice to give leadership, and I've told you all the reasons why. I think that Shayna Smith, this is a good time for her to run, to give herself in service. I think Najan Christopher is a good, excellent candidate. Offer herself for elected office?
Well, Christopher is the former Director of International Affairs Secretariat. Well, recently, she was identified as a public officer who prepared a letter for the Premier's office that was sent to a federal court in Florida, which claimed that former Premier Andrew Foy had diplomatic immunity. She has since been arrested and charged with breach of trust by a public officer and false assumption of authority. Well, outside of the women named in his own list, Cline said that he had a general belief that it was a time for a woman to take up more leadership roles in the BVI. He noted, however, that women receive far less support on political ventures than their male counterparts.
Men have no more brain power than women. The only thing in more instances that men are stronger on is in their skeletal framework. Other than that, that same Genesis narrative in chapter 1, created he, them, male and female. I want to say to us, it was just like the folk who voted against Hillary Clinton in the United States, and in the exit polls, they said that they voted for Donald Trump as opposed to Hillary. Hillary had all the competencies and compassion and capacity, but voted for a dominant alpha male because he was male, and voted against their own interest.
Well, Cline spoke just hours after the announcement was made that Christopher was charged and released on bail. Well, moving on, viewers, where Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley says that his plans for contesting in the upcoming general elections are focused on his relationship and understanding with the people, as opposed to directly campaigning against anyone.
I don't plan to campaign against anyone. My campaign will be a conversation with the people of the 7th District and the people of the Virgin Islands about what it is, the vision that we have for the Virgin Islands. Of course, we'll be able to campaign on what we've accomplished while we've been in office and what it is we plan to do to make their lives better.
Well, at the time, Premier Wheatley was responding to a question on how the Unity government's efforts to implement reforms will be impacted by members campaigning against each other as the election draws closer. Wheatley said he is of the opinion that this would not be an issue and that the ongoing reforms will be viable in the government's campaigning for re-election.
We'll be able to tell the people of the Virgin Islands that we didn't basically leave governance the way we met it. There's some real challenges in governance, not just yesterday, for over a number of years, and we were able to tackle some of the big challenges in reform. Even though it's a difficult process, even though in some instances it's a painful process, but it is a necessary process. And that's the type of leadership we have to present to the people of the Virgin Islands.
While the Premier said this approach will be quite different than that of candidates who make empty promises and will instead seek to engage the people of the Virgin Islands in the necessary tough conversations needed to tackle the issues and show real leadership. While elections are constitutionally due by May 2023. Well, up next, viewers, the OECS Virtual Trade Exposition 2023 and policing personnel from the Bahamas, the United Kingdom, and the United States deployed in Turks and Caicos following upsurge in murders. While we get to those stories when 284 News return.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
You value traditions. Today, you value music. You value education. Family. I love you. Service.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up, start the day, Maybe it's sheer grit. Maybe it's your ethics. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. We all have our reasons, and for Republic Bank, that reason is you. Every little thing, every big thing. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you. We're here to help.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Well, welcome back, viewers. Well, the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States is hosting a virtual regional trade exposition to connect small and medium-sized businesses with suppliers and buyers for a 3-day networking event in May 2023. Well, this event will allow business exhibitors opportunities to have real-time interactions with consumers, producers, and buyers, cost-effective marketing, and to gain more knowledge of their industry. Well, the BVI Chamber of Commerce and Hotel Association is coordinating the local participation of this excellent opportunity for Virgin Islands business to showcase their products and services on a regional stage. Well, businesses in the agriculture, creative industries, food and beverage, general manufacturing, health and wellness, professional services, and tourism sectors are encouraged to participate. Recently, Ron Grant sat down with chairperson of the BVI-CCHA, Mrs. Shana Smith Archer, and president of business BVI-CCHA, Lavina Liburd, to discuss the trade exposition. Well, Mrs. Smith began by highlighting a bit about what the chamber has been up to.
Oh, we have a lot of things in the pipeline, Ron. This event in terms of the regional activity that we're here to talk about is just one of many things. We also have coming up and coming initiative to promote our local young entrepreneurs more. More information is going to come out about that later on this month. And we actually have also revised our new member perks. So if someone signs up with the CCHA today, in addition to the other benefits, they'll be able to, receive a coaching session, a website banner ad for a week. We'll also do a Facebook promo and an e-blast that's free. All of this is part of their new member package. So what we're trying to do is really create value, more value rather, I would say, for membership with the association to really, help our entrepreneurs to be a success.
Well, Liburd spoke specifically about the virtual trade exposition being hosted by the OECS.
This is quite a unique opportunity to interact with not only other micro, small, and medium enterprises throughout the OECS region, but to interact with buyers, potential clients on a regional level. One of the desires, I won't say requirements, for participation in the expo is a business that is ready to grow, to scale to the next level, to go regional, ready to export if there are goods involved, ready to work on a broader basis if there are services involved. And from that basis, the OECS is looking to build wider continuing linkages for the benefit of all. And having a larger market is never a bad thing. Positioning yourself to understand what's available in the wider market and to take advantage of it is part of the reason being for business in a lot of ways, isn't it, Ron?
Absolutely.
And so this is an excellent opportunity to have that broader interaction. And not only that, but to have some preparatory sessions with the OECS coordinating team in preparing the virtual exhibit for the expo. Mm-hmm. So it's a really, really valuable opportunity on multiple levels.
Well, the duo also shared the various industries that are invited to participate in the expo.
Number one on the list, creative industries. Agriculture is a key part of this. Manufacturing, professional services, which we have a plethora of various types within the Virgin Islands as well. Okay, so I'm running out at 4. Health and wellness.
Health and wellness, food and beverage.
Food and beverage, yes, of course.
So persons or businesses that have, let's say, food products or drinks, they can also be a part of this show.
All viewers, the registration deadline is this Saturday, October 15th, 2022. For more information, interested persons can call the office at 284-345-3513 or send an email to info@bviccha.org. That is info@bviccha.org. For the full interview, visit all 284 media platforms. All viewers, moving on to our final story, where the recent upsurge in gun-related crimes in the Turks and Caicos Islands, which have resulted in the killing of 15 persons in the past month, has prompted the TCI government to seek external policing assistance, including military support from the United Kingdom government. Well, this was confirmed by their governor, His Excellency Najan Christopher, in a statement on Monday, October 10th. Well, according to news sites within the territory, the situation on the ground has been deteriorating for the past year, but worsened in September following several gun-related murders. Well, the violence has been linked to the drug trade on the islands and is said to have spiraled out of control following the killing of a local drug dealer with origins from Jamaica. Responding to the proactive measures being taken by the TCI government and the Office of the Governor, Dakin said that the situation is constantly under review and has been brought under control following external assistance from the Royal Bahamas Police Force and law enforcement agencies from within the United States. Well, he said, and I quote, "Beyond local police bravery and skill, I also have little doubt that the arrival of the Royal Bahamas Police Force and the U.S. Customs and Border Protection aircraft, along with Drug Enforcement Agency, has had an immediate deterrent effect. If it hasn't, it should have. If the gangs have gone to ground, they will be found. If gang members have moved overseas, we have international partners, including the UK's National Crime Agency and regional governments, who are solidly in support of helping us track them. If our short-term measures are being effective, I promise our long-term measures have to be determinative," he added. Well, Governor Dakin also revealed that their National Emergency Operations Group, which consists of himself, the Premier, the Police Commissioner, Chambers, the National Security Secretariat, and the Overseas Territory Policing Advisor, have requested precise UK military support. Well, he said, "A Royal Fleet Auxiliary is making headway towards us and will bring her Wildcat helicopter. The UK Foreign Office is paying, and this airframe provides outstanding day and night surveillance, providing top cover for policing operations and the ability to track fast boats. Well, this is strategic offer that the military can provide," he added. Separately, we have had the UK's National Crime Agency arrive. They have worked with our intelligence branch, helping further draw together the information we have on the gangs developed from the new intelligence unit that recently became active, supported by the UK specialist trainers, end quote. But the TCI governor also said that plans are being put in place to have additional specialist firearms police support deployed to the islands if needed. He said, "Given the Bahamas deployment, the commissioner's judgment is that we don't immediately need more tactical firearms officers on the island to reinforce our own. Beyond the ones we presently have, the Bahamas have sent sufficient and are the force best placed because of proximity, regional cultural understanding to immediately help." However, he said, following the Premier's and his request, the UK policing are finalizing a contingent plan for additional specialist firearm police support. Well, viewers, that's all we have for today's news roundup. I'm Kamal Haynes. Have a safe and enjoyable evening. Bye-bye.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.